We're back. Hello, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Radio Works World. My name is Marion, and I am your vision host here at Radio Works World. And today's show is all about your heart and mine. And in fact, I'm going to do a little bit of adjusting because I want to start. We're going to start the session today, this whole sharing experience today, by connecting to your heart. So, and I'll tell you why in a moment. There's a very good reason for all of this. So just place your fingertips lightly at the base of the breastbone so that you're just connecting with the space in the body where the heart exists. And as you connect to that space in the heart, allow your energy that would normally be in your thoughts to slowly move down to the heart. And as we know, Marina, don't we, this is one of the most difficult journeys. The journey from here, from the head down to the heart. So as you're focusing on the heart, allow yourself to relax. Allow your breathing to relax. Allow yourself to connect into your body. And allow your shoulders to soften. And your spine is made of nice, strong bones, so allow your body to rest on the strength of the bones in the spine. The spine is called Meruda in the ancient Sanskrit language, which is mountain. So just be the mountain and rest. And as you connect into your heart through the fingertips, notice behind those fingertips where the heart is. Notice, can you feel your heart beat? And can you feel as the heart beats, the blood is rushing through? Can you feel that? Can you imagine it? Can you sense it in any way? And as you allow yourself to connect into your heart, allow the space of the heart to be opened. And that vulnerable, open, receiving space of the heart to become inside your awareness. So it's vulnerable, it's open, it's soft, it's beating, it's keeping the whole of you alive. And in this place connected to the soft heart, recognize this is who you truly are. This is where the truth of you lies. We are vulnerable. On a material level, we are just flesh and bone. And the mind likes to think that it's clever or it's intelligent or it's whatever the mind likes to believe that it is. That it's smart or that it can do things that other people can't do. The mind compares. It compares you to other things, to other people, to other situations. But in that comparison, you don't actually really exist because the comparison is looking at the things that you're not so that you can create an idea of who you are. So connecting to your heart, just be who you are. Allow yourself to be who you are, no comparison. And really, there is no comparison. You are unique. You are you. I am me. I am unique. And just for a moment, allow yourself to imagine this space is wide open and allowing in and out all of life. No comparison, no blocking, no guarding. Open and vulnerable. And safe and connected to the whole universe. And in this space, I want you to just notice something that happens when we introduce a specific type of thought. So I want you to allow the thought of a person or a situation that creates fear or anger or hate or dislike or distrust or impatience or frustration, dissatisfaction. Just allow one person or one situation and notice how that creates a closing of the space around the heart. Just be aware of it. Don't try to stop it. Don't judge it. Just be aware that we have these ideas of people or situations or things and how they are not connected to us. And when we think of this, we actually disconnect from our own open and vulnerable heart. And so practice now to just release the block, release the guarding, release the closing, the fear, and reconnect back to the heart now. Just allow it to melt. But I want you to imagine that you can do this in the face of that situation or that person or that thing. So allow them as if they are still in front of you now. And at the same time, you can still connect to your open, beautiful, vulnerable, special heart. So even if they were to be standing in front of you, or the situation was right in front of you now, you still have access to your unique, brilliant light inside your heart. When we have access to the heart, we have access to all of who we are. And in that space, there is an infinite number of choices, possibilities that we have access to. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and come back and join me. Thank you for helping to create a beautiful heart space for this few moments. And the reason I wanted to do this practice today is because an amazing teacher, she's a teacher of Tantra. She's called Palm Isadora, and it's spelt Psalm, you know, like in the Bible. Is it SP or PS? Psalm. Psalm Isadora. And she is an amazing teacher. And just before we came on air, the conversation I had with Marina was around how when a teacher dies, that as a student of the lessons or the teachings of that person, as the student, you take on more of the responsibility for sharing that amazing message. And in the same way, the teacher never dies because the energy of the teacher is the lesson. And so the lesson is all around. And my understanding is that if a person really is a teacher, and I think we all are, as a true teacher, we can only die when the message that we have, the lesson that we have to share, has been shared enough. Because if we carry a lesson within us, we're not distributing that lesson, then it's almost like we're like in a place of karma. You're still here. Karma means action. You're still here acting in this world to share that message. And so when that message has been shared, sometimes it's in a positive way and sometimes it's in what we perceive as a negative way. But when the lesson has been shared, when the information has been distributed, then the person that had the job of the distributor doesn't need to be alive anymore. They can move on. And if you believe in past lives or future lives, they can move on to the next life. So in a way, there is never a death because the teacher is the carrier of the information and the information is the thing that will never die. And I see myself as a teacher. I'm not always sure what it is I'm supposed to teach because I also believe that what we share will be uniquely interpreted by every individual that we meet or every individual who comes across the lesson that we are sharing or the information that we are sharing. And in this way, regardless of what I believe my message might be, regardless of what clarity I might have about how I share and distribute the information I have no control and should never try to have any control over how it's interpreted by the other. The more purely I focus on my truth and the more purity I express my truth through, that's all I can do. There's no more that I can do than that. And I think by trying, you're actually diluting purity. I think by trying, you're denying self. By trying, you are not allowing yourself to be who you are, to be in this present moment, and just and exist as yourself. So the word trying is something that I notice when I say it. I become aware that I've said it, usually, not always. I'm trying to notice that I say trying. And when I use the word, I realize actually it's a representation of some conflict within me. Because if I use the word trying, it means that there's something I want to achieve that I haven't yet achieved. And so it would be much clearer, much cleaner for me to share something in a way where I said, I would like to have this result or this outcome. And at the moment, I've not yet reached it. Because in that space, it's easier for me to understand what's in the yet. You know, what do I, is there something I need to change? Is there something I need to continue? So I can understand a little bit more clearly how to achieve the outcome that I want, or is possibly the outcome's not the right thing. But when I use the word trying, it's almost as if nothing has to change. And if you're trying to do something and you're not achieving it, it's like, you know, banging your head against a brick wall and realizing that wall isn't going to fall down. Would you keep banging your head? Would you keep trying to knock the wall down by banging your head? And to me, that's what the word trying means. It's like, it's inflexible. There's no space for change in trying. You're just going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And not doing it right, because if you were doing it right, you'd achieve what you wanted to do and you could stop. You would just have achieved. So with Psalm Isadora, what I really love about the teachings that she shares is she's very real. She's very direct. She is very, she's all about the truth of what is. And it's so in alignment with many of the teachings that I believe in, that I follow, and that feel true to me. And those beliefs take me to a path where we have this idea of problems in life. There is no such thing as a problem. We create a problem by not accepting what is. And in the non-acceptance of what is, there is the problem. Because a problem is either we don't have something that we do want, or we do have something that we don't want. Well, if we have something, we have it. If we want to change it, then we can devise a method to change it. If we don't have something, we don't have it. And again, if we want that situation to change, we can create methods in which to change it. But without accepting what is, that in this moment I don't have a thing that I would like, I'm creating the problem by imagining I'm lacking. So say, for example, I wanted a new Mercedes and I haven't got one. And I see everybody else driving Mercedes and I think, oh, it's not fair. All these people, how come they can have something I don't have? But actually, the problem isn't that I don't have a Mercedes. The problem isn't that I'm jealous of other people. The problem is that while I'm doing all of that, I'm not actually acting upon my dream. I'm not trying to manifest my dream. I'm focusing on what I don't have. I'm focusing on what I perceive people do have that I don't like about them or about their situations. So all I'm focusing on is negative things. And when I look at, what is it I want? So why do I want that? And how can I have that? And how can I do that in a way that is going to be, it's going to be fair, and it's going to be just, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be creative, and it's going to be easy, and it's going to be satisfying, and it's going to be fulfilling. All of the places that I'd really like to be, how can I manage to achieve what I want and hold on to all of these states of being that I know I enjoy? And if I enter a state of being that I don't enjoy, then it's a really good sign that I can change what I'm doing and find a better way, a different way, a new way. Inflexibility is always associated with this closing down of the heart space. So that's why the whole conversation that I'm having today is about what is it we're doing when we're accessing this open, vulnerable, giving and receiving space of the heart, and what is it that's happening when that space is closed down. So if I perceive a problem in the space of problem, my heart space is actually a closed space. And so if I can stay in the same situation and do what we did in the beginning in the practice, and allow myself to reconnect to my heart and allow my heart to open, the heart is the most amazing receiver and giver of information. It's got access to and connections to all information everywhere, all of the possibilities, as infinite as that number is. The heart has access to all of that. There are some amazing scientific studies happening at the moment. There is one organization in America called HeartMath. And what they've done is they've measured, they've really got the science stuff sorted out. And they're using all of the old esoteric understandings and teachings about the heart. And they're using modern science to dig into those ancient bits of wisdom and to find out what is the modern scientific truth behind this ancient wisdom around the heart. And they found that the electromagnetic field of the heart is so much more powerful than any other organ in the body, because we think the brain is the powerful thing, don't we? We think the brain is there to send all of the signals to the body, to coordinate all of the activities and the signals in the body. It's where we perceive intelligence to be. It's where we perceive the memory to be. It's where we perceive our brilliance to be within the brain. But actually, the brain doesn't exist without the body. I know you can keep it in a jar, like that film, The Man with Two Brains. You could potentially scientifically keep it in a jar and it would stay alive. But what would be the purpose of having a brain without a body anyway? But something I heard the other day, which just completely, it was like, wow, I've never really thought about this before. And it really kind of blew my mind. It was a real light bulb moment for me about the brilliance, the intelligence of the body and the heart. You know, when people have a broken spine, like a paraplegic, the spine is broken somewhere. So there are no signals sent anymore to the arms or the legs. So this person suddenly has no use of anything from below the neck. And yet, in that body, so apparently it's been a disconnect between the spinal cord has been broken and the spine has been broken, which means that all of the channels of communication that we know of in the nervous system between the brain and the body have been cut, have been severed. Yeah, you get that? So how come, if there's no communication between the brain and the body, how come the heart keeps beating? How come the kidneys keep working? How come the digestive system keeps working? How come the lymphatics keep working? How come there's so many things that the body is doing, isn't there, that we perceive are controlled by the brain. And yet, even when there's been a cut, a disconnect between the body and the brain, the body still continues to function completely, except the muscles don't work. And the other thing that was really mind-blowing in that moment when I heard this story was that even if somebody is paraplegic, it's still possible for that body to get pregnant if it was a woman, or to create a child if it was a man. So men are still producing sperm and the women are still producing ovaries. And if you impregnated a woman, even if she is in a wheelchair and she's paraplegic, her body is still capable of creating, growing and giving birth to a child. Like, wow. So she can't move her arms, she can't move her legs, she can't do anything apparently. She's been disconnected from her brain and her body. And yet that body still has all of the intelligence, all of the knowledge, all of the know-how, all of the functions intact to be able to give birth to a new being, a new child. So what we perceive as in science is giving us all these answers. There's still so much that we don't know. Anyway, with HeartMath. So what I love about HeartMath is HeartMath has given a really clear image of how powerful the heart is and how much more powerful it is than any other part of the body. than any other thing that's going on physically in this body. There is nothing as powerful as the heart. So the electromagnetics are more powerful. And in the electromagnetics, that's where the information transfer happens too. And so this practice of, let's just go back to the practice. So just pressing the fingertips gently, very gently, just resting at the base of the breastbone. And now that you've got some extra information in your mind, allow that mind to settle, the breath to settle, the shoulders to settle. And allow yourself to just reconnect to your heart and send messages of gratitude from your mind to your heart. Like your mind can suddenly think, oh my God, this heart, it would beat even without me, the brain. Your mind, the part in your brain, can give praise and honor and gratitude to this heart that is so much more powerful, so much more intelligent. It's full of instinctive, intrinsic brilliance. So much more than the mind can even understand. And the heart is the place of forgiveness, acceptance, wisdom, peace, love, compassion. And when your heart is full, what else is there? Wow. Thank you. Marina, come and join me and tell me a little about your experience of that beautiful meditation.
was really truly beautiful, and made me think that you developed the supreme art of being the teacher to awaken joy, and it is to do with it's nothing to do with trying. Coming back to your dissertation about trying, I think it's to do with what you already have, and
yes.
You discover how abundant you are.
Yes.
And then that ignites this creative expression and knowledge, and it's almost like a spring. It's keep coming, and can heal so many plants, and can water so many gardens, and could, you know, that thirst for knowledge people have.
Yes, beautiful.
And you know, I was thinking about your teacher, and for me, she's still here. I never met her. I'm, you know, barely discovering myself, so it's going to take me a while to go into other people's thinking and their creations. So I'm work in progress, if you bear with me. I'm just thinking that the greatest knowledge of all knowledges, if that could be an English say, is the desire to know yourself. Because you see, I got degrees, people got degrees, they go through school, through academic experiences. And then when I retired, I felt left with nothing. I felt I gave it all away. And I could go away now because I got nothing left. And then, only then, I become aware that there is more. There is more to knowledge, is the art and science of knowing who I am. And it is a painful journey. And I know there are a lot of teachers out there who don't know they're teachers.
Yes.
And what you are actually providing the world is something you discover on your own about yourself, but is transferable to others. For example, you teach so much, sometimes I think, oh my God, how much this woman knows is almost unbearable. Yet, there is something I pick that I need all the time as a tool. So your own discovery, you discover those amazing tools for yourself, and yet they are transferable onto me and others, to millions of people, without denting the value of the tool. So I'm thinking now that your Speak Easy program is the one tool that everybody, absolutely everybody, should go and put their name on it. They, personally, I feel that unless you could express your gift, unless you could express your message, unless you could craft the story, the untold story, there's no point in trying.
Absolutely. And it's so true, isn't it, that when we speak to somebody and you're having a conversation and you recognize that the person that you're speaking to has heard what you've said, they've understood what you're talking about, and there's a shared feeling, there's a shared sense of you've kind of both reached the same point of knowledge or of information, and then it becomes much more than just the information. It becomes a really deep shared experience between the two of you. And that for me is something that can happen with somebody that you don't know, somebody that you do know, or anybody in between. You can even sometimes share it with your dog if you're feeling a bit down and you want to talk to the dog. But there's this place where when we've communicated a message and it's been received like purely or cleanly by the other person, it's such an amazing feeling that happens. And so absolutely I agree with you that when we can speak and share our story and it's received with the same intention that it's given, then that is a magical place to reach.
I think this is what happened on stage when we help our friend
Maha
from Turkey to, and I took that picture before and after.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it. I'm totally amazed of the transformation you could see on the picture. And a picture, it's 1,000 words. But I'm thinking that this is simply she is ready to receive. You could be the best teacher.
Yes.
You could inspire and ignite curiosity, imagination, and instill the love of learning to millions of people.
Yeah.
But when the person in front of you is not ready to receive, is nothing, absolutely nothing you can do.
No. And this is so true. This is a conversation I had recently with a lady about she wanted somebody to help her, to show her the one thing that needed fixing, the one way to fix it, so that she would gain a result of allowing the problems that she was experiencing to go. And so when she spoke to me about the work that I do one-to-one with clients, she said to me, so after one session, I will be able to be free of this. And I said, I don't know. And anyway, I don't work in one session. That's not how I work. I do a 5-session set with people when I work with them, because I know that within 5 sessions, the shifts will have been big enough that it's going to make a massive impact on you. But I don't know what aspect of you it's going to make the impact on. And I don't know what the shift will be. And I don't want to know. And I don't care, because I know from my experience that all of the clients that I've worked with, when you are open to receiving, when you really are open to accepting whatever gift is available to, and it comes out of you and it comes through you, but you have to be absolutely open to it and ready to receive. Because if you're not, if you're looking for the one thing, the one fix, the one label, the one name, or the one pill, or the one person to fix it for you, in my experience, that never works. It's never how it works. So absolutely, you're right, Marina. It's about being completely open. And when we are completely open, and when we do the kind of work that I did with Maha on stage, small changes are happening and subtle things are happening. But the shift that happens to you with the experience of being you is enormous. Absolutely enormous. It's an incredible way to work. And I know now that the less that I try to guess what might happen, and the less that I invest myself in trying to make something happen, the more magic happens.
You use the word magic, and it is magic, because
Yeah.
that miracle you've been waiting for all your life, that miracle is actually you.
Absolutely.
The person you become, the person you grow into, to be able to deliver your purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking many times, I've been told, you are such a great teacher, you inspire me, and I know it's a great responsibility, so that's why I love learning.
Yes.
But I go into learning all the time. But the most difficult lessons to learn are lessons and winnings about myself. So learning who I am gives me the chance to help more people, because as a teacher, you don't give answers out, to your student or to your family or to your friends, but you understand their needs, and you understand perhaps their challenges, and passing on the tools you use for yourself, it will help others to succeed.
Absolutely.
So this is why I'm keep saying, people are saying, okay, I want to I want you to be my coach, and I'm saying no. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I need you to understand that I have no answers for you, absolutely none. And I don't even teach, actually.
Yeah.
All I do, I share, and I share the good news, which is you. So sharing the good news is my way of teaching.
Yes.
Because I really believe that the best way of teaching, of learning, is teaching, and the best way of teaching is sharing.
Yeah.
This is my own understanding, my own interpretation of my love for learning. So I realize that the same way I love learning about myself, since I discovered there is me after all, I love learning about other people. I don't Google anyone. So people come to me and say, oh, so you don't know who I am? I said, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
So you didn't Google me? I said, I don't Google anyone.
Yeah.
This morning I had this great conversation and with somebody from Asia, and they were like in shock that I don't know who they are. I said, well, I have to see you. I have to see you as, as the Marion Bevington way.
Yeah.
see, because it's the energy, is your vibrational field, that no matter where you are in the world, I feel it.
Absolutely.
And I learned to read through vibrations and through your even sometimes people are telling me certain words, I hear something else.
Yes.
And I can't help it. I developed that tool for myself, because it's what I use to discover myself. And I know some people are thinking she's talking total nonsense, but you see, what really, really works is what doesn't make sense. So when you have the courage to go into something that doesn't make sense and start discovering that nonsense that you thought you classed it before as nonsense, because before I retired, I would have said, all this is utter nonsense. Give me transactions, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And now I'm telling you, it's a total different light that takes over.
Yes.
Because transactions are just something minimal, something almost like insignificant, comparing with the power, the light, the energy that comes within when you could read people, when you could read their untold story before they even said it.
Yes.
So coming back to your teacher, I think what happened, she created a connection within you.
Yes.
She helped you open the gates to your own heart.
Yes.
And that connection is the bond you have with your teacher. And of course, my biggest dream is that my students will feel connected with themselves after they meet me. That's all I want. I only want to open the doors into their own heart.
And that's the truth behind education, because the word education means to illuminate from within. So it's to allow the student to express from themselves and to bring out that knowledge from within. Whereas the education system that we perceive from our society is information is put in and regurgitated. But actually the beauty of the word education is that it is about finding the doorway to open to allow the inner light to shine out.
Wow. Wow. You know, sometimes I wonder what would happen if you could pass on your tool, Speak Easy, to every single person on the planet, because imagine how much success would be out there. I think it's almost like overwhelming thinking.
I know.
Oh my God.
I think the whole planet would shine brighter than the sun.
So I think most people, I notice this when we organize events, people will come and ask me, who is the audience? What kind of people? You know, and I'm thinking, I know people want to to niche their knowledge and their speech, but I'm thinking, no, you don't understand. Each one of us got exactly the same divine essence.
Yes.
And the teacher is the person that makes the difference, not the audience. And it's almost like being seduced into the unknown. Yeah. So as a teacher, for people who go and speak on stage, I think they always want to know who is in the audience. I never want to know that. I don't want to know anything about the people coming. Yes. Because they've been told something about themselves which might not be true or correct or accurate. Yeah. So I want to feel it for myself, and I want to connect with them on a very individual basis in a way that is bespoke to them, because they deserve to.
When you talk about transactions as well, Marion, a transaction is very refined, very confined to some very basic, clear-cut definitions. And this is the same thing when we, you know, if we try to niche our audience, or if we try to understand the box that we're getting into to communicate right now, we are doing that same confining, refining of information, which means that we have to disconnect from all of the other stuff. Yes. And in that disconnection, we might lose the real juice, the real gem that is actually the lesson that's to be shared, or the information that's the most precious in that moment. We might lose it.
Wow. So, you know, I feel, Marion, that each time you go on stage and you speak, I feel like I'm transported into a better place. It's almost like a medium of the human mind and spirit. You know, it's almost like a different planet altogether, where you can breathe, you could feel free, you feel enlightened, you feel you matter. Yeah. And I think giving your audience that experience is so unique, and I feel so humbled and so grateful for you touching our listeners' life and taking us to a place of just being humankind, being being this raw, fragile, sophisticated, extraordinary material.
Yes.
But vital to personal development. Because, you know, I'm saying this, and I know some people are thinking I lost it, but you are stardust. Every single one of our listeners.
Yes, we all
need to remember who they are. Yeah. They are stardust, and they need to remember where they are going. Yeah. They are going to discover who they are.
Absolutely.
This is all there is to me. And everything else doesn't matter. For me, it's almost like you can't take me out of this focus, because I am the actual stardust. And I remember who I am, and I remember where I'm going. I'm going to discover who I am. And I'm so grateful, Marion. It's almost like, you know, a few years back when I felt caught into a black tunnel, and I was crawling towards the light, not knowing if there is any light or not. And I remember those times vividly. And if I knew you back then, imagine what a difference would have made, not necessarily for me, because it's not about you and me, it's about the people we could help together. So imagine if people are coming to you at the right time, before the crawling, before the pain, before the struggles, and you give them the tools to speak easy.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow. No, it's do you know, one of the things that I really love about the work that we do together and the impact that we have on people, Marina, is that we can, although we want people to remember who they are, and remembering my divine light, and remembering that I am stardust, I have to let go of the closer past. So, you know, the reasons why within a society, the reasons why we would create differences, the reasons why there was hate, the reasons why there's been struggles, the reasons why there's been fear, the reasons why there's been war. There's no need for that level of past to dictate anything to me in this moment. But the infinite past, the fact that I am stardust and I am divine light, that's what's important, because that's going to create a future that I can't even imagine right now. Because again, that's opening up to all of infinity. And that's what I absolutely love about what we do. And that idea that it is as open as it could ever be, bigger than we can ever imagine, is just such a beautiful place to be. It's so exciting. It's a little bit scary, but it's, I mean, I just can't imagine being anywhere else anymore. So thank you, Marina, for helping me to reach this part in my journey and to being on the journey with me.
I know perhaps I should ask you what is your key message today, but you know what I'm thinking? I feel, as we speak, I feel that a lot of people who are listening, they feel they could grow from inside out. Yes. And they feel that nobody can teach them, and nobody can make them better or more spiritual or more wiser than themselves. And actually, what I gather from you while listening to you is that there is no other teacher greater than my own soul.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So, final message to our listeners today, Marion.
My final message is to remember that the heart is never closed, that the mind can create an idea of separation, but the heart is never closed, and it's always connected to everyone and everything.
Wow. From both of us, until next time, is goodbye.
Goodbye.